Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best, recent, cutting edge, most important, useful, and hopefully transformational brain body tools so you could take better control of your thoughts, of your words, of your internal narrative and stories you tell yourself, and also of your energy, of your body, so you could make better decisions, take impactful, powerful action, and create the life experience you absolutely love living. Folks, we're all gonna have those days when we wake up and things don't work out and we don't feel all that motivated and we dwell on all the negative sides of all of our lives or things that we consider to be negative. Because at the end of the day, most of the things are just things. And it's the stories that we tell ourselves about what happens in our life, what or how we are, that's the stories that are either negative or positive, the stories that we choose. But most of the events in life, even if they might seem objectively negative, actually are neutral. And it's just our evaluation makes it positive or negative. But the question I always encourage you to ask, and that's what I do every time I start feeling like I'm looking at the cloudy side of the world. The question I encourage you to ask yourself is this thought or evaluation or story that I'm telling myself about what's happening, what happened, or how I evaluate myself or others. Is this story serving me? Is this moving me towards the life, the goals that I want? Is this moving me towards the person that I want to show up and be? Is this moving me towards experiencing my day the way that is uplifting, inspiring, and feels good? Like, does this serve me when I do it regularly? And if it doesn't, why am I holding it, right? Why am I telling myself this story? Write it down and then rewrite it. Change the narrative. And after a while, you can change your stories one by one by one by one. And after a while, a new way of thinking becomes your new normal. And you want to notice how you'll become more positive, more optimistic, more empowering, more inspiring, not just for yourself, but also for the people around you. And I believe that might be even more important because you can affect and impact in a different way a lot of people. And those people, like a butterfly effect, will multiply your good energy, transforming a much bigger part of the world that you can even imagine. So yesterday I attended an event in Innovation City here, Cape Town, and it was a book launch of a brilliant young woman, Alexander Proctor, and it was her book launch event. And she shared also a lot about her entrepreneurial journey. She built this platform for finding housing for students, and maybe she built something else on top of that. But a big part of this book launch event and her interviewer was focused on the mindset and how to cultivate that empowering, self-empowering, mindset and emotional stage. So most of the time you are moving yourself towards your goals, your visions, your boldest dreams, instead of spending a lot of time doubting yourself or the opportunities or the world and looking at the more negative side of all of it. And Alexandra was sharing how she thinks and how she assesses herself in the world and opportunities, and how she chooses to shape the stories that she has in her head. So they serve her in an empowering way. And Kino, the host, the co-founder of Innovation City, the interviewer, He made a point to focus at one point in the interviewer on this thought that the words that we tell ourselves, those are the most powerful tools for self-change and for changing the world. And I could not agree more with Kino. And that's why more and more of my coaching, more and more of my content is dedicated to the stories, the narrative, the psychology. And I'm even more considering more and more getting a degree in psychology. I'm thinking neuroscience or psychology, but the more I think about it, what I'm passionate about and what I see transforms people and the world in the most powerful way, psychology, the way we think. But obviously that is also affected by our biology. And so I'm still on the fence, as you can see. But the main point here, folks, when you learn how to navigate your internal conversation, the stories you tell yourself in an effective way that serves you, that makes your life feel meaningful, that makes you grow, that makes you move towards your vision streams and aspirations, there is nothing, like literally nothing that is impossible or will stop you. That being said, I also wanted to share with you a few practical tools that over the course of the past couple of weeks I've been going through with almost all of my clients, who are more and more the clients that I absolutely love working with, entrepreneurs, founders, leaders, change agents, wanting to improve, to grow, to go beyond what they thought or somebody else thought was possible for them. Personal development, growth, and shooting for the stars and taking one step forward towards those most inspirational goals. So over the course of past couple of weeks, we did a lot of sessions, meaning me and a lot of founders, entrepreneurs, and leaders. And the tools I'm about to share with you about imposter syndrome and confidence and self-doubts and talking down to ourselves, talking negatively to ourselves. And then also, as a result of all of that, I would say, experiencing more stress and sometimes on the verge of burnout than we actually can experience, even with the workload staying the same. A lot of the stress that becomes physiological as well, affecting our body as well as our minds. A lot of the stress it doesn't come with work, but instead is brought to us by us through our narrative, through the stories we tell ourselves, and also through how much pressure we are holding instead of just releasing that. And yes, working hard, but then we didn't have to, as I told one of my clients, to have our foot on the pedal of gas, on gas pedal all the time, making the drive, so to speak, work 24/7. Imagine how much energy you're actually wasting just by holding this tension, where you could relax and save a lot of that energy for life and the work that matters. So let's start with imposter syndrome and confidence, lack of confidence, losing your confidence. They're kind of all in the same, don't you think so? When you feel like an imposter, do you have a lot of self-confidence? No, you doubt yourself. Your confidence level is lower, right? So imposter syndrome, confidence, they all the same bucket. And as I shared with my clients, when you experience imposter syndrome, or you doubt your confidence, like you are not adequate for the job, for the position, for the next step, for the opportunity that you are given, guess what? It's totally normal to feel that way when you're reaching for new opportunities, for something that you've never done before, that you've never tried before. Like, it's normal to feel that way, to feel that you are inadequate and you are out of your comfort zone, out of what you used to. That's normal. That's how growth and change are supposed to feel. Uncomfortable, messy, inadequate. And you're not going to have your confidence because you haven't done that before yet. And you're going to feel better and better about this specific situation that you might be experiencing imposter syndrome about, or not that confident, maybe giving that talk in front of thousands of people, or doing workshops for a huge corporation, whatever that might be, because you haven't done it yet, at least not like that exactly, or maybe not to that scale, or maybe you've done it but a couple of times, you're still not going to feel comfortable until you do it again and again and again and again, and it becomes your second nature. It's like, that's why I also recommend my clients to have some hobby where they could experience that emotion, or the journey of not being good, of not understanding something, not knowing how to do something, being bad at something, and then by putting in the work, getting better and better and better. And one of my clients shared with me, well, I remember in the gym where I couldn't do a pull-up, and then I worked on it. And then one day I could do a pull-up. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Guess what, guys? The same thing happens at work, at any skill you are not good at yet. And you can work on it, you can improve, and one day, just like with that pull-up, you'll be able to do that. But until you do that, you will feel like you are an imposter. You are in a room where everyone is smarter than you or more qualified than you. Yes, and you should be thankful for being in that room where you can learn the most. So the main takeaway, just as I tell my clients, when you feel imposter syndrome or not confident, good. That's how growth feels. That means you're reaching for something new. You're about to claim new territory. And what do you need to do that? To actually start feeling better and start feeling more confident and more capable, you need to take action. You need to find opportunities to learn. You need to train skills. You need to ask for advice, for feedback. But most importantly, you need to take action. More and more and more action. And you'll notice how the more action you take towards that goal, toward that skill acquisition, to in that environment or uncomfortable situation, the more actions you take, the less of that imposter syndrome or lack of confidence you're going to feel. So action is the answer. Or using the words of Alex Hormozi, outwork your self-doubt. True in the gym, true in business, true in any pursuit you have. Outwork your self-doubt. Build a chunk of evidence that you can look back at and say, I did that and this and that, and I trained for it. And because of that, I can tackle what's in front of me. And another exercise that I give to all of my clients experiencing this almost paralyzing lack of confidence or imposter syndrome, I call this exercise confidence stock, or refilling your confidence stock. And what it is, you take a piece of paper, any paper, a pen, and you sit down and you write down all the instances, all the events, all the situations where you didn't think you could do it, and you still did it. You showed up. You took action. You asked for advice. You did the research. You figured it out. And there are many, many situations like that in your life, in the life of every single person here right now listening to this. So write down all the situations where you figured challenging things out. And the more you write, the more evidence you see appearing on this piece of paper, the more and more confident you're going to become. Not because you know it all, or you learn how to fake it till you make it, but because now you see the evidence that throughout your life, you've been able to figure it out again and again and again. And because of that human capability of learn and improve and figure things out, you will be able to do that again. And as far as being good and skilled, that comes with practice. So that is normal. And that's how you deal with imposter syndrome and confidence. Feel it, acknowledge it, understand that it's normal, and take action. And the more action you take, the less of that you'll feel. But then, of course, again, you'll want to jump into new territory, and all of a sudden you feel that feeling again. But maybe at that time, you'll understand, here you are again, my dear friend, imposter syndrome and confidence. That means I'm in the area of growth again. And you're going to almost welcome it, like, yeah, I'm going to figure it out and going to move forward. So that's how we deal with confidence and imposter syndrome. Also, guys, realize that if you are into personal growth and you are a high achiever or aspire to be one, also realize that you're going to be dissatisfied with your performance more than you're going to be satisfied with that. That's what high achievers do. We have this drive. We have a lot more dopamine, I personally believe, than other people who don't feel that they need to strive to get better all the time. And the darker side of that drive to be better, to become better, to grow consistently, the darker side is that you want to grow because some part of you thinks that you are not good enough yet, or you're not satisfied with what you have, and perhaps you're never going to be. But that's what drives you forward, that ability to see your potential and always feeling like you're not quite there yet. And guess what? That's what growth is. You're never going to be quite there. You're going to be in the process of growth most of the time. And that means that there is some part of you that always going to be telling you, we are not good yet enough. We are not good yet. We are not good yet. Enough yet, right? So you're going to feel that like a little bit of a nagging voice that you're still not good enough. And that's okay. That's also normal. And you're like, yeah, I'm not good or that good yet. And I'm going to be working and improving and learning. And because of that, I'm going to grow into someone awesome. I'm already awesome, but I'm going to be even more awesome, right? So just understand that voice for a high achiever, for someone who strives to grow and improve consistently, that's just part of who you are, because you have this drive to improve constantly. And what do you do with that? Don't look to the past, but instead use this voice and ask, okay, that was good. Celebrate that you showed up, that you delivered, and then ask, how can I get better? Or how can I do better? One thing to do better, to deliver better performance, to deliver better results, to deliver better, content outcome, whatever that is. How can I get better? Or how can I do one thing better? When you ask for feedback, by the way, from other people, don't ask like, can you give me feedback? But instead, ask people a very specific thing. What one thing I can do better next time? So don't ruminate on the past, but instead look into the future, and you're probably already good with that as a high achiever, someone who wants to grow and improve consistently. So ask for feedback and also ask yourself the same question. What's one thing that I can do better next time? And then get inspired, get motivated, and get back to work. Working on skills, working on yourselves, improving, learning, growing. But also don't forget to celebrate. That's what I also tell my clients. Celebrate. Just stop. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, just take that foot off the gas pedal and stop and lean back and give yourself a sometimes imaginary, sometimes real. Get yourself a pat on the back and tell yourself, yeah, I did well. I showed up. And that's a good job, right? Make yourself feel good. Give yourself that feeling of progressing, of accomplishing, of taking one step after another. So give yourself that, and then ask yourself, well, how can I be even more awesome next time? How can I do one thing better next time, and start working on that inspiring future. So that was about confidence and imposter syndrome and not feeling satisfied with yourself often. Again, remember, those things are normal. They are absolutely normal, but how you respond to them and how you allow them to shape your conversation, your emotions, your thinking after that, that's where you have a lot of control, power, and that's where you can choose whether create a negative self-talk cycle or a positive one, an inspiring one, a motivational one, the one that make you want to grow, improve, and see what you're actually capable of. Now, as a high achiever, as someone who wants to do more, grow more, accomplish things, you will do a lot. And you will naturally want to work hard. And sometimes it's going to be hard for you to stop and to say, that's enough for today. And now I'm going to rest, because rest and recovery are the other side of being a high performer and delivering high quality work or performance in any arena. So you need to learn how to stop and dedicate sufficient time and attention to recovery. And so a lot of high performance people, a lot of my clients who are high performance, who are interpersonal growth, constant improvement, they come to me and they need help with stress management, with stress regulation, with recovery and rest and preventing burnout, just because by default, they push themselves a lot more than other people. And for them, it's more natural to push than to stop and rest and recover, which is needed the higher you go or the harder you go with your performance. It's like a professional athlete. If you want to train more, you got to recover more. There is no way around that. Athletes understand it usually better and earlier. And I worked with professional athletes for a few years in my career as a coach. Athletes usually understand that because they also see the effect in their performance. Like when they don't rest well, they see that their performance starts to dip. And they're like, yeah, that's not actually working. That's not in my interest to skip my recovery because I work for my performance. And if it suffers, I need to do something. Whereas for a lot of knowledge workers, the correlation is not as easily measured. If you're a runner, you run faster or you don't. Whereas if you're a cognitive worker, it's kind of hard to say whether your brain is running faster or not. And it's hard to evaluate how smart you are on a day-to-day basis until you do cognitive tests. It's like, I did this test with some of my clients who didn't understand that sleep was so crucial for their mental performance. So we would do tests on the days when they had great night's sleep and on the days when they didn't. And their performance suffered by quite a lot, sometimes 40-50%. They're like, so I am dumber when I don't sleep. Maybe I do need to dedicate more time to my sleep. So data and numbers are very powerful and motivating. And again, athletes get them usually naturally because performance is what they measure. And knowledge workers, people who work with their brains, we just don't have a lot of tools to measure our cognitive performance. Not a lot that people use regularly. But that doesn't mean that your brain performs better. Your brain actually is the most sensitive organ to your rest and your nutrition and recovery and stress and all of these things and your energy balance. That being said, this is just an explanation for you to, and perhaps more motivation, why you need to pay attention to your recovery and your performance. You're just not at your best when you don't manage stress and you don't recover well. And today I wanted to share with you a stress and recovery management one-on-one. So you could start moving towards better recovery, which will translate into more results at work, better or more well-being in life. And you'll just feel much, much better. And after a while, you'll notice how your performance, your delivery will improve. And what's even more important, your motivation, your enthusiasm for life and showing up will increase. And that will feel awesome. And that will separate you, differentiate you from a lot of other people. So sleep recovery, rest one-on-one for high-performing people for whom it's very hard to stop and take that foot off the gas pedal and instead stop and allow yourself to recharge so you can go hard again. Sleep is your charging station, the most powerful one. There is nothing that works better than sleep. There is nothing that can substitute sleep. And the shorter your sleep is, the less capable you become as a leader, as a high performer, as an entrepreneur. Did you know, folks, that in the first part of your sleep, your body, your brain do the physical recovery. And in the second part of your sleep, your brain starts working on things like learning, consolidating your memories, taking care of your mental health, of your mood, of your emotional regulation. Did you know that? So when you always get like 5 hours of sleep, guess what you're not getting or not getting enough of? Your learning, your memory suffers, your mental, emotional life, your anxieties and worries ramp up. You start creating these stories in your head about you, about other people, not the positive ones, I must assure you. So your mental, emotional life start to suffer a lot, and you probably won't even notice it because you are the only one in your head, and you're like, I'm just in a bad mood or stressed or depressed. Guess what? That might be sleep. So anyhow, sleep, first of all, get more hours. Regularity of your schedule is also crucial. Your brain prepares your body for sleep experience. And if your sleep schedule is all over the place, plus minus 2 hours is called social jet lag for a reason. So if your sleep schedule is all over the place, your brain does not do a good enough job preparing you for sleep, and you can't fall asleep, or if you can fall asleep, your sleep quality is not the same, your recovery is not the same, your sleep cycles are all messed up, you're not going to feel as fresh, you're not going to recover as well. So sleep schedule, duration are hugely important, and so is not consuming caffeine close to your bedtime, 8 hours at least away from your bed, not consuming alcohol in the evening, not eating too late. 3 hours before your sleep time is the time to finish your food, not getting enough exercise, not getting enough steps, viewing bright light, especially artificial bright light, not viewing enough sunlight in the morning and during the day. All of that is going to screw up your sleep quality, your recovery, and your performance as a result. I wish there was that, cognitive test that will tell you that after a not such great night of sleep, your cognitive performance suffers, your emotional regulation suffers, your stress levels grow. All of that gets worse with poor sleep. And it matters if you're the kind of person who want to learn, grow, improve, and get to the next level in life. So sleep, more time, regular sleep, control your caffeine, your food intake, your alcohol, get your steps in, expose yourself to natural sunlight, especially in the morning, and control your bright light environment from screens and in your room, in your environment as well. By the way, if you'd like to learn more about sleep, if you want to work on your sleep, if you'd like to know more about sleep hygiene and how to properly implement it in your specific situation, book our session. In the show notes, there is a link to our session, and book it. And I'm going to walk you through all the steps that you need to ensure that you're going to get great quality of sleep as many nights in a row as possible. You're going to get the recording of the class. You're going to get the PDF with practical takeaways, and you can ask me as many questions as you'd like. So that's in the show notes, link in the show notes. That being said, what else can you do to fall asleep faster? For example, a lot of my clients say that I can't fall asleep. I start thinking about work or about upcoming things or family stuff. It's just like so many thoughts in my head when I'm trying to fall asleep. Here is a quick tool for that, to address that in research has been shown very effective, and with my clients as well. Take a piece of paper, get a notebook or something for all of these exercises that you can then throw away. So before going to bed, take 5 minutes and take a piece of paper, take a pen, and write down everything that's on my mind, that's on your mind for the future, like the bills to pay, the work to get done, buying food, taking care of cats and dogs and family, not necessarily in that order. Write it all down. The more details you write down, research shows the faster you're going to fall asleep. So write it all down. Don't keep it in your head, cycling in again and again and again on the loop. Instead, writing down, it will help you to fall asleep faster. Then there are supplements that I recommend. There is a combination of magnesium glycinate, epigenin, and L-theanine. If you'd like some recommendations, just let me know. Connect Angela at brainbreakthroughcoach.com. I'm going to give you my recommendations for sleep supplements. Absolutely natural. These are not medications, but natural substances, nutrients, and herbal extracts. So some supplements can definitely help. So can breath work, doing 5 minutes of either box breathing or exhale focused breathing through pursed lips, or doing physiological sigh for 5 minutes, also very helpful to calm your nervous system down and help you transition to sleep faster. And so will help Yoga Nidra protocol, or yoga sleep, or body scan, or NSDR, has different names, recommended by Andrew Huberman, Stanford neuroscientist, with the most popular podcast on Apple, at least. So he recommends to do this Yoga Nidra protocol that I do from time to time when I'm having troubles falling asleep because too much in my head, or just my body is not calm and ready to sleep for whichever reason. I also can use it sometimes if I don't get good quality sleep. I also use it. It's just 10 minutes, the one I recommend, and the one that Andrew Huberman recommends. So listen to Yoga Nidra, breath work, journaling, taking supplements, a powerful booster to your sleep, especially writing things down, and breath work. When it comes to stress regulation besides sleep, breath work throughout the day, several times every hour, every couple of hours, take 2-3 deep breath cycles, like 4 counts, breathe in, 8 counts, breathe out. It feels so good, by the way, guys. And you'll notice almost immediately, you'll feel like you have more energy, you're more relaxed, you're more calm, and the stress is not running through your body. And then you'll also feel more calm, more focused, and able to go through more work than you thought you were capable of in a calm and focused manner, not like rushing through it or pushing through it. So breathwork is very powerful. So is nature in micro and macro ways. What do I mean by that? Well, if you have the ability to go out and take a stroll in a park, beautiful. If you have the ability to just sit under the tree on a street in a city, or perhaps on a rooftop in your office or in the building where you live, you can also look in the skies, sit by some plant or among plants. That also helps. Or if you can have plants in your apartment, perhaps you work from home, or in your office, or having more pictures around you of nature and listening to nature sounds, all of that, nature in macro and micro ways, will help you to relax, will help you to unload some of that stress. And combined with breath work done consistently, that's going to do wonders, folks. Just breath work alone, when you do it consistently throughout the day, you won't believe how powerful it is to keep stress levels manageable, low most of the time, and keep yourself in a relaxed mode more than in a stressed mode. And believe me, that matters for your fatigue. That will be almost non-existent, or very rarely you'll feel it, for your recovery rate and recovery speed, for your mood, for your ability to communicate with other people and hear other people's points of view and be non-judgmental or not confrontational, but instead collaborative. Stress levels have a lot to do with not just how stressed you feel, but also how you interact with the world, people, and how able you are to solve problems and issues fast and without unnecessary confrontation with other people. So, and you'll sleep better. The lower your stress levels are, like the more you can regulate your stress, the better you're going to sleep, you're going to recover, and then the better you can show up for your work and for your life. And that's about it, folks. That's what I wanted to share with you from a new perspective, or perhaps refreshed focus on the power of your mindset to change your life and help you to achieve the boldest dreams, to imposter syndrome and how to deal with lack of confidence or low confidence levels, what to do when you are never satisfied with your progress and you always ruminate on the negative side, to how to recover like a champion so you get the results like a champion. All of that we learned and heard and practiced, hopefully, on today's podcast. So put into practice some of the things that you learned today, re-listen to this podcast. And the last but not least, please do share this podcast with as many high achievers as possible. Folks, if you have the drive, if you know the people with the drive who want to change the world but are kind of stuck in their way, this podcast can help them to get unstuck, get moving, and change the world for all of us and enjoy the life while doing that. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your attention and your time. Please do share, rate, review our podcast so we could reach more people. Become a part of our mission to reach 1 million of high achievers with this podcast to transform their lives so they could transform the world. Please share this podcast. Please stay tuned for more episodes with amazing guests, founders who have a lot of tools to share, especially on the side of mindset, that help them to navigate this challenging but also very rewarding founder's journey. So stay tuned for that in our upcoming episodes, as well as book studies that are going to transform your life when put into action. Share, review our podcast, and have an awesome, refreshing weekend ahead. Put time into recovery so you could show up powerfully in an inspiring way to change the world and help others do the same.